Ferdinand and the Coaches. Bash, Dash and Ferdinand, the logging locos, were enjoying their new life on the island of Sodor. They used to live on Misty Island, where they had been sent after they were naughty. But the Vat Controller brought them from the island and sent them back to the mainland so they could be repaired, cleaned and tested. The Vat Controller had brought them back to work in the shunting yards. Bash, Dash and Ferdinand were learning a lot from the other engines. Bash and Dash were learning useful tips from Thomas, Percy, Duck and Oliver. And Ferdinand was learning quite a lot from Edward, Toby and Coco. Ferdinand is the oldest engine out of the logging locos. Ferdinand knows he may be old, but he knows that even he can be really useful. But sometimes Ferdinand wished he could be as important as the big engines. One day, Bash, Dash and Ferdinand were at Knapford Station. They were feeling bored. Ferdinand was thinking about all the jobs they could be doing around Sodor. "When can we go out and do something?" asked Bash. "It's boring standing around the platform," agreed Dash. "Don't worry, you two," smiled Ferdinand. "We'll be giving work soon. Who knows, maybe we'll get the best jobs." "We will get the best jobs," said Bash. "The younger engines always get the best jobs," said Dash. This made Ferdinand cross. He didn't like being teased by Bash and Dash. "I may be old," he said, "but I can still work as well as any other engine." Bash and Dash just chuckled. Before Ferdinand could say anything, Gordon puffed into the station. He was pulling the express into the station so he could collect his passengers. Ferdinand was pleased to see Gordon. "Hello, Gordon," said Ferdinand. "Good morning," smiled Gordon. "It must be fun to pull passengers," said Ferdinand. "It's loads of fun," agreed Gordon. "You can take passengers to anywhere on Sodor. They love all the sights we engines show them." "Maybe I could pull passengers today," thought Ferdinand. Bash and Dash laughed. "You pull passengers?" giggled Bash. "You can't pull passengers." "It's been ages since you've pulled passengers," giggled Dash. "You'll make a mistake straight away." Just then the Fat Controller arrived. "Ah, Gordon, you're here. Good," he said. "I have news for you. I will be riding on the express today. I have to go to Kirkronan Station." Gordon was pleased. The Fat Controller rode on board the express on rare occasions. This made Gordon's axles tingle. Then he looked at Ferdinand. An idea came to him. "Sir, can Ferdinand pull passengers today?" he asked the Fat Controller. "It would give me something to do instead of standing here doing nothing," explained Ferdinand. The Fat Controller smiled. "You're not one to stand about, are you, Ferdinand?" he said. "Very well. Edward is away helping Donald and Douglas at the quay, so I need you to run Edward's branch line today." Ferdinand was very happy. He couldn't think of anything to say. "Good luck, Ferdinand," said the Fat Controller. "Collect your coaches from the courtyard and then go straight to Wellsworth Station." "Yes, sir," said Ferdinand. "Thank you, sir." "Don't pull the heavy coaches," the Fat Controller added. "Take the coaches that Percy, Molly and Neville use." And he went to climb on board the express. Bash and Dash were cross. They thought this was unfair. "We should get that job," grumbled Bash. "We're faster than you any day," groaned Dash. Gordon and Ferdinand just laughed at the engines. Then the guard blew his whistle and Gordon puffed away. Ferdinand watched as Gordon and the express leave the station. He was pleased to be given a job. "I must be off," he smiled. "I'll see you two later." And he puffed away to the coach yard. Bash and Dash felt insulted. They weren't happy with Ferdinand. Ferdinand puffed into the coach yard to collect the coaches. He was so excited he forgot to be careful, and he bumped into the coaches. "Oh, oh, oh!" groaned the coaches. "Oops, sorry," said Ferdinand. And Ferdinand puffed to Wellsworth Station. He arrived at the station where the passengers were waiting. Ferdinand was excited. He couldn't wait to start his journey. But as the passengers climbed aboard, the coaches were grumbling. "We want another engine," they groaned. "We don't want a bumpy engine." Ferdinand felt insulted. "Come on," he said. "Don't argue now. The passengers are the most important at the moment." Just then Henry arrived with his passenger train. He was dropping off more passengers for Ferdinand's train. "Hello, Ferdinand," coughed Henry. "What are you doing?" Ferdinand told Henry about Edward being away with Donald and Douglas and that he was to take over the branch line for a while. "That's exciting," smiled Henry. "Your first passenger train after a long time." Just then the guard blew his whistle and Ferdinand wheezed happily. "Be careful," called Henry. "Edward's tracks may get steep." But Ferdinand didn't hear Henry. He disappeared into the distance. Soon Ferdinand was puffing along the branch line. He was enjoying his journey so much he could see the green fields on both sides of the track. "Beautiful," he sighed. People waved and cheered as he passed by. Ferdinand blew his whistle to them and gave them a big smile. But the coaches were still unhappy. "We want another engine! We want another engine!" they groaned. This made Ferdinand feel insulted. Come along, he puffed. "We're doing well." But the coaches didn't want to listen to Ferdinand. They decided to get back at him for bumping them. Soon they reached a hill. Ferdinand saw it was steep. "Come on, Ferdinand," said his driver. "Let's get a good run up there." Ferdinand drew up steam and raced up the hill. He was going so well until he reached halfway. Then there was trouble. The train came to a stop. Ferdinand's wheels were still spinning and his pistons were pumping. The train wouldn't budge. Come on, he groaned. "I have to go on." But the coaches took no notice. They wanted Ferdinand to struggle. Ferdinand huffed and puffed and chuffed and heaved his hardest. But the train still wouldn't move. Steam blew from Ferdinand's funnel and from his cylinders. "Please," called Ferdinand, "I'm sorry I bumped you, but I really need to get up the hill. The passengers need to get to the station. Please don't do this to me." But still nothing happened. Then the driver checked the gauge. "Well, Ferdinand," he called, "stop!" Ferdinand was feeling tired. When he heard his driver call, he slowed to a stop. He was feeling out of breath. "You've used quite a bit of fuel trying to get up the hill," said the driver. "We don't have enough to reach the next station." "Oh no," groaned Ferdinand. "What can we do?" "I'll go and get help," said the fireman. So he climbed down from the cab and went back to the signal box. The fat controller was in his office having a cup of tea when he got the call. "Ferdinand stuck?" he exclaimed. "I'll send help at once." Soon Billy was on his way to the rescue. He soon reached Ferdinand and the coaches. He whistled to let Ferdinand know that he had arrived. "Come on, Ferdinand," smiled Billy. "Let's get you out of this pickle." "Thank you, Billy," smiled Ferdinand. Billy gently buffered up behind and pushed as hard as he could. At last the train rolled up the hill. Billy pushed and puffed and puffed and pushed. Ferdinand heaved a sigh of relief as they reached the top of the hill. We made it! He tooted. Billy whistled back and they set off once more for Lower Sudbury Station. Billy had to work very hard. The coaches were heavy, but he was determined to get to the station. Ferdinand wanted to help, but he didn't have much fuel left. He felt sad that he couldn't do any pulling from the front. At last they reached the station. Ferdinand was so relieved to see the platform up ahead, but his smile turned to shock when he saw, waiting on the platform, was the fat controller. "Oh no," he thought to himself. What would he say? As the train stopped at the station, Ferdinand gulped. The Fat Controller was cross. "You are late," boomed the Fat Controller. "You should have been here ages ago." "I'm sorry, sir," said Ferdinand. "The coach had held me back on the hill. I was only—" "It seems you need to relearn your skills on handling the coaches," said the Fat Controller. "Coaches need to be treated right. If you bump them, then you will have problems handling them on the main line. And it looks like I can't trust you with passengers at the moment." Ferdinand sighed sadly. He knew he had made a mess of things. "Billy will take over the train and you will go back to the coach yards and shunt coaches," finished the Fat Controller. "You have a bit to learn about coaches again, Ferdinand." "I understand, sir," said Ferdinand. "I'll go back right away." So for the rest of the day, Ferdinand practiced shunting coaches with Duck. Duck taught Ferdinand a few gentle tricks with the coaches. Ferdinand listened well, but he was still upset. Duck felt sorry for the lucky loco. "Cheer up, Ferdinand," he smiled. "You'll get to pull coaches again. It will just take time to get used to." "I hope so," sighed Ferdinand. "I feel bad about letting the passengers down." "Trust me," said Duck. "Time is a great healer, and you will soon feel better about yourself, and the passengers will forgive you." This made Ferdinand feel a little better. That night, Bash and Dash couldn't help but laugh at Ferdinand's mishap. "We want another engine," chuckled Bash. "We want an engine who won't bump us," sniggered Dash. They were making funny impressions of the coaches. Ferdinand thought Bash and Dash were being very silly. He knew this was going to be an adventure they will never let him forget.